Every time God has an orgasm, a star is born into the night sky. Every time God squirts, an asteroid is launched into the abyss and is caught in the praying palms of each planet's craters. Every time God has a petite mort, a nebula explodes into the galaxy's face. God sat on the galaxy's face and had a petite mort, and from that moment bore the sweet nebula I take my deepest naps in. Is God afraid of dying with every little death that comes God's way, just like I am? Is God afraid of leaving bits and pieces and moments of God's self into the scrapbook of the universe with every dearly departed ejaculatory squirt? Is God afraid of the viral, immense pleasure of expanding so vast across eons of space and time with every palpitating breath, orgasm, or little death like I am? Does God just want to feel like themselves on the other side of an orgasm the way I do? Is that why God and I say, "Oh my God," in the same way when we come and know we are talking to each other? I used to wonder if all the little deaths I've acquired have killed me. It's hard to believe that we suffer from the little deaths of our old selves when it's the passing by of the rocket ships of who we could have been that actually kills us whole. Or maybe God is leaving in that rocket ship to leave us behind. Instead of staying so far removed from God's pleasure, God is going to go revel in it. Maybe God just wants to get it in before the world ends because the entire formation of the universe has been about getting it in and binge watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think God just wants to make sure that in this life, the God in you, the God in me, is oh so pleased. When God comes, God moans in the shape of a meteor shower. The North Star is God's nightlight. And if God tilts God's head back far enough when God is coming, God can see the glorious underboob of said North Star. Does God like to use Orion's belt to get smacked on the ass with? I wonder if God likes doggy style as much as I do. The last time God came from doggy style, Pluto disappeared and went to go hang out with its 7 dwarf friends. I wonder if God likes to be gently choked. What does God's safe word? Mine is I love you. Maybe God's is too, since that makes everyone stop, drop, and run the hell away from each other. God wants to know what vibrator was slung across the solar system on the highest pulse and killed the Earth's dinosaurs. There seem to be some dinosaurs left in a circus tent called Congress, so it may come in handy again sometime soon. There is an inferno between God's lips, and every time an I want is shouted into the ether, a pyroclastic wave of ping-pong champion sticky sweet caramel-dipped comets soar across God's bedroom and land in God's hungry mouth, from which God will speak the holiest sacrament of I am satisfied. God just wants your love to fall right into your lap, right into my lap, right into the lap of God whose panties are already soaked. God is just a horny bitch like the rest of us who likes to pat glitter on their pussy and call it the constellations, who gets their pussy waxed in the shape of all 12 zodiacs. God scooped nice cream out of the universe with the Big Dipper and shoved it up God's hoo-ha and came real big. Which is why we're called the Milky Way. God and God's pleasure is the black hole where we end and begin. Perhaps the stars in the night sky are the sperm of our universe, and we're all swimming in God's wet black hole waiting for our rebirth. God says, just devour this pussy like Andromeda to my Milky Way in 2.7 billion years already. All God really wants is intellectual intercourse with ourselves, to speak our highest selves into existence with every I am here, whole and enough that connects the dots of the constellations into the boldest flavor of truth. God just wants us to see ourselves in each of God's orgasms that light up the night sky and know that our little deaths will not break us, do not kill us whole. They only serve to make us eternal. So if you think that God has fucked you over, you are so right. God has fucked you over the moon and into the galaxy so that you may become the greatest sight to see, baby. Thank you.